right. Hello, Leo. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you've had a great day if you're in Europe, or if you're here in the US, so your day is getting off to a great start. So nice to see everybody. Looking forward to seeing the messages that came through. Actually, this morning I had a ton of dream messages that were starting to accumulate. So I think that one of the things that we'll be focusing on is organizing and getting everything set up. Let me just turn off my monitor on the side because I can hear myself speaking and I don't want that. So thank you for your patience. All right. So as I was saying, early this morning, I was getting a lot of messages around preparation, applications, and also like legal matters, approvals, and things of that nature, even like escrow. So a lot of you are busy this month, and I see a lot of progress in all of those fronts. I'm going to help you out with that. Let me put down my furry assistant, Apollo, and we'll get started. If you are watching live, you'll have a chance to vote on which deck you'd like me to use, so make sure to take a look at the poll. Everybody, welcome. This is your monthly reading. As always, this can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. And basically, I help you out by navigating through the opportunities in front of you for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So lots of great information present here. We always begin with channeled information, then go into the Celtic Cross, which afterwards I'll expand to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. There's a lot more involved, but we'll go through each one of those as we get set up. Hey, buddy. Give Apollo a little pet, tuck him in here, and then we'll get started. Welcome everybody to my new space. If you haven't seen me since last month or haven't looked at any of the collectives, I'm finally in my new apartment, but I'm still unpacking, and it takes some time. I should be hopefully there by the end of this week. Apollo's really enjoying the new place, as you can tell, and he's like right in front of a AC vent, so he's just chilling out, quite literally. All right, if you enjoy what you see here, I highly encourage you to subscribe. I've been starting to do some new impromptus, and I'm also adding in dailies in the form of the shorts, so this will keep you up to date whenever I post something new, because not everything is announced, and in fact, because I'm still unpacking, I haven't yet posted like the monthly forecast. I should hopefully be getting back into that by next month, but it's actually working out okay not to have every single date laid out, so become a part of the notification team, and you'll never be late to anything. Also, just a reminder that you can join me on social media. It's always my name, which is Nicholas Ashbaugh. There's never any additional numbers after that. I don't have any backup accounts. Remember that I'm never going to contact you offering you any product, service, or especially any reading, and I do not do private readings. I see that all the time in the comments, so just so all of that's clear, then anybody that's offering any of that stuff is not me. If you'd like to show love and support, you can do SuperStickers, Super Chat, or membership here on YouTube. And again, the only way that you can usually support me is through the built-in capabilities of any platform. So it'd be stars on Facebook, badges on Instagram, stickers, or whatever on TikTok. So stick to official routes and you'll always be okay. All right, with all of that being said, let's get into today's forecast. I always like to begin, as I said, with channeled messages. I got a lot, and I mean a ton of information through dreams for you today. And also, even your totem is really connected to the dream messages. So the totem, which met me as I was walking the dog this morning, was a bee. And I thought perfect and apt sort of companion to the messages because it's busy and it's organized and it's abundant and it helps sort of spread things as well. So beautiful energy coming through already. So let's geek out a little bit on bees and why they are really a nice match for you for today. They travel quickly. So I chose the Knight of Swords here, about 32 kilometers or 20 miles per hour. And they also flap their wings at around 200 times per second. So I think they beat the hummingbird with this. They're both pretty fast, or it's around the same energy there. The main message that I see with this totem combined with the dream messages is it's a time to move or be moved. You want to move, obviously, because that gets you into the energy of like world or expansion versus tower, which is a necessary move that happens without your own volition. So it's closely, as I said, tied to the messages that I picked up on this morning, which is about being proactive and productive in the weeks to come. So this is my favorite Hierophant card. It's from the Wild Unknown deck. We see the raven or the crow holding the key. And the key to sort of like moving things forward is taking initiative and creating the organization in your life. You hold the key, you're the gatekeeper, and that's where you're going to find your power. So honeybees, obviously they live in hives or colonies, and it's all about hierarchy. So there's queens, workers, and drones, and they each do very specialized roles. The queen itself can live up to 5 years and can lay up to 2,500 eggs in a day in the summer months, which is crazy. The bees, of course, themselves, in addition to gathering all that pollen, they help basically pollinate the flowers and allow for them to reproduce as well. So everything about this totem, its speed, its movement, its abundance, and its fertility, basically. So bees are an amazing sort of energy to bring through. And they're super important on this planet, even though they're kind of in a decline right now due to a number of human factors as well as natural factors. So for you, focus on abundance and fertility and organizing yourself so that you can tap into those energies. One other thing here is leadership will definitely be a piece of what's coming through for you. And so I have the Queen Bee card here, but in a very unusual way. So we have the Three of Pentacles, which is a recognition card. It's kind of shown as a teamwork card here. And so for many of you, the message is it's not about like who's in charge so much. You can actually have a moment here to shine as a member of a team, because your individual contributions are going to filter up. Your ability to work well and possibly even lead that smaller team is also going to be a key factor in your recognition. And if you're surrounded by a lot of amazing people, don't worry about the competition. That's actually a compliment, because like energy attracts like energy. Together, you're going to do something amazing. And I see this as a chance for you to shine in a group, which isn't an easy thing to do, but just by simply doing a great job working with that team and embracing all of the sort of opportunities that present themselves, you can be like that queen bee in the center of this hive, which is kind of cool. And I think I basically highlighted all the main things here. When I was a kid in elementary and middle school, and even high school, I was fortunate to have a lot of really smart friends. And in school projects, we all wanted to team up because we knew we would take our respective parts and just do an amazing job. So, and we were smart in different ways from one another. Maybe one was more scientific, one was more creative, one was a better speaker. And so we didn't try to kind of compete in those areas. We just did the best we could in our individual areas, and together, like, we could do something amazing. And so I learned early on that it's good to be around super smart, equally smart, even more intelligent people, because it pushes you, and together you can do something great. So don't worry if you're not, quote unquote, the brightest star in that group, because the equal sort of luminosity of all of you is going to make a really big splash. And there you go. Read the fine print. Now we're moving into dream energies. So it was almost for like 30 minutes. I was like, why am I working so hard? I was trying to help somebody write something in dreams, a contract. And also I was trying to help somebody else write a resume. I'm like, this isn't me. I'm going back to sleep. But I took note of it because there was something really important with that. The first thing is, the reason you're working so hard is you get one shot. There's a very busy person that's going to be looking at I guess, applications that are coming through. So for some of you, I'll skip forward one slide, then we'll go back. You may be trying to go for an audition if you're an actor, applying for a new job if you're working, a college application if you're a student. It could be a first date, any age, any stage of life. Basically, you're trying to get someone's attention. And for professional situations, second bullet matters a lot. Make sure you've done everything and put it in a portfolio. As someone who used to look at portfolios, let me give you a tip. The important thing is to never put things that you don't want to do again in a portfolio. This is especially true for artists, but a CV still constitutes a form of a portfolio, resume. So don't list tasks that you don't want to do again, because if you're good at them, we're hiring you for that. If you're trying to flex and show different areas of growth, make sure that you're putting that in there. And maybe that's some of the first stuff as well. Always show where you're headed, show your biggest strength, and don't put in the stuff that you're overdoing, the stuff that you want to kind of graduate to the next level. What I think the most important thing is, and this is where I was trying to help the person that was writing, maybe that was the entrance essay for a school, or it was the professional statement or the personal statement that you put at the top of a resume, whatever. But I was like, don't just put the information, show a little bit of your personality as well. And when it comes to, if you're fortunate enough to have a face-to-face or a voice-to-voice kind of conversation, it's going to be that sort of human touch or splash or personality that wins you the attention. So for some of you, I feel like it's a tie, and it might be like not just a 2 or 3-way tie, it could be like a 4-way tie. There was a lot of good candidates, lots of competition. So it's the person they like the most that's more apt to get it. So be truly yourself, be relaxed, make a personal connection with somebody, and that's why I put the star here. Going backward one slide, the person that is evaluating things is so busy that they're not reading everything. So you want to organize information in such a way that it's easily scannable and you're making a good impression. Make sure that you've read the fine print, that you've proofed it, because I saw someone like with a symbolic rubber stamp. So if something wasn't complete and you were hoping they would catch it, they're not going to catch it. They're hoping that you did your job. So if something's going to go to press, get an editor or someone to take a look at this to make sure it's okay. If you're just the rubber stamper and you're signing something, make sure you know what you're signing, because later the fine print could come back and haunt you a little bit. So being very attentive to details is key. A single scan is what I saw for most people. So whatever this application or presentation is, they're not going to dig deep, but you need to have it there later because they may go back and ask questions. So do the homework, read the fine print, be prepared. Know that there's going to be a single pass looking over stuff. And if you don't get through this time, try again, because some of them weren't read. There was a stack, and 2 or 3 were just left on the side. So if you get rejected for something, it actually just may be volume. There's so much volume that they go with the first, or they go with the most impressive. They don't read everything. You get another chance at that. So think of this as like the 8 of cups. One rejection doesn't mean it's a no. You can come back later and try again. Lot to unpack with that, but important pieces as well, okay? Don't rush anything out the door. You'll only get one shot to get attention. It would be better on something like this to apply later, perhaps when it's all finished or when you're more prepared as well, okay? Lots of little pieces there. Early bird gets the worm. So when it does come to the point that you feel prepared, you want to be first. So get up early, be prepared, be professional, take this seriously, and be memorable. I keep saying that your personality, your voice, we'll talk about the voice later, is going to shine, but the timing piece is essential. So if there's an interview, get there, make sure that you're there 10 or 15 minutes early. You don't want to be ridiculously early, but you don't want the person waiting, and you certainly don't want to be late. I was late once a long time ago to an interview, and I knew it was done the minute I stepped in the door, even though it was out of my control. I knew that it was over. So sometimes punctuality is key, but in this case it is punctuality, professionalism, and organization, okay? This is the final slide, I believe, on this one. Let me just double check, but yes, and it's the most important one. Use your own voice. You may think someone else can write your essay or resume or something better than you. The truth is, it's your own way of stating or creating something that will make you memorable. So you can have someone clean it up, but don't let them change the voice or vision. When you think of singers, for instance, and those that choose to kind of vocalize a certain way, maybe they have vibrato, maybe they have a really distinct accent. It's those things that make them cool or memorable versus everyone on the radio that sounds the same. So if you have a little special something in the way that you speak, in the way that you write, in the way that you present, that's actually going to help you. So just try to make that like the cherry on top, and everything else is really solid. Don't lose who you are, because your sign is all about being bold, right? And so this is your chance to really be sort of that bold energy, okay? So let's take a look now and see what you chose for me for the deck today, and we'll go from there. Okay, so it looks like by a landslide it's the Wild Unknown. So let me grab that and we'll get started, everyone. All right. So when I moved, I actually had to put my decks back in their cases. So I'm going to grab this deck, pull it out of its case. It's been a while since they've actually been all kind of in their boxes. So bit by bit, every day I'm grabbing a few more, and hopefully by the end of this week I'll have everything set up. Plus I'm going to purchase some new ones and hopefully have some new decks by the weekend. There's just been a lot going on. As those of you who have moved know, it seems like every day there's a new adventure. Okay, so let's get the top camera set up and begin today's reading. So again, we're going to be looking right now at the Celtic Cross. This is going to be for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And welcome everyone, it's good to have you here. Let's zoom in a little bit more, there we go. Toward the end of the reading, we will look specifically at sun, rising, and moon messages, so stick around for that portion as well. Okay, so we got a volunteer, but I also chose one, so we'll put both of those. Got a lot of sticky cards today and some movement. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting month for you. Let's just try and get these organized so you can see where the doubles showed up. And there's the legal rubber stamp energy with justice. Lots of movement for the better. So many rainbows coming through in this particular spread. I like where you're headed. Even if some of the momentary movements are a little challenging, you're definitely headed in the right direction. So just wanted to confirm that. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm reading the comments here from Regina. Yeah. It's interesting when I always honor it if there's two that stick together. So for some reason today, there's a lot of messages to come through. So my guides are like, you're going to have to talk faster. But yeah, I'm really happy to see Wheel of Fortune, Tower, and Justice. Big moves to find balance in your life, for sure. Love the firefly. That's one of my favorite totems. Thank you, by the way, to everyone that's giving super chats, to all my members. I appreciate you guys. I will say thank you at the end, individually. Some nice synchronicities here. Let's see, never a crowd on the leading edge. So I was going to say part of this is teamwork, but some of this is also about pushing away from that crowd. So we'll talk about that as well. But we have coming together here. So it's kind of like, how do I stay unique to my voice, but work together in a group? And that's going to be one of the challenges. All right, so let's begin with your Catalyst card first. The Catalyst is intended to help you kick off the action of the month, to get things going in the right direction and keep you in that trajectory. So we have the Eternal Child, beautiful card, beautiful message here. It is like that inner child. And to me, this would be like Fool or Six of Cups or even the Sun card. And it's saying there's a part of your personality that wants to come out and play. And really, I'm looking at the sun here at the center, right? So birthing energy is what I get with this. The card was not quite reversed, kind of like 3/4. So I would say some of you are sitting on the fence and you're wondering, is it okay for me to do this? Is it okay for me to be who I want to be, or to release this in this moment in time? And this card is saying, yes, it's probably overdue for you to make this next big movement. So this looks like a month where, remember the very first card that I said, move or be moved? And actually, if we kind of take a sneak peek here, your crowning card, the one that's underneath, is the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have like the Tower, so move or be moved. And then we have things that are kind of affecting that, but it's definitely, sorry, I think I just reversed the cards here because the Son of Wands was on the top. But yeah, we have the kind of the cards that will modify it, but move or be moved are the main messages, and definitely this is a time to move things forward, okay? And then we'll talk about how these two cards modify that. Let's get to the center here. So we have Father of Cups, or the King of Cups card in reverse. And so some of you are just saying, you know, before I'm ready to step into this change and step into this movement, I just need a moment here. I need a moment to clear my head, to clear my mind, to sort of focus and take care of myself. And I think that it could just have been an exhausting period that you've been through. Someone who's just gone through a move, I can relate. And like, that's why actually the day after I did that, I was like, I can't do anything. And for the first week, I had to cut out all of the dailies, because you just need to catch up energetically, right? Get some sleep, adjust to the new situation. So it could be a new job or a new relationship or a new environment. Some of you are entering into something new or getting ready to leave something old. And before you do that, the build up, the actual climax, and then the sort of denouement as you're going through all of this stuff, it's a lot. So give yourself time to go through that roller coaster of energy and come out on the other side feeling good. So that's the first message. There could also just be heavy energy coming to you from the external sort of people in your life. So there could be friends and family and potential love interests that are entering into your life, and it's just a lot. So you're going to have to figure out good boundaries. Today I can deal with this. This isn't a good time to talk about this, etc. Let people know where and how much, most importantly. Crossing this card, we have a card of value and confidence, the Five of Pentacles. Oftentimes an echo of the past, something that came through where in the past someone said, you can't do this because, or they didn't show up in a way that you needed them. And it affected you because it stuck with you. If they said because you're not smart enough or pretty enough, that stuck with you. If they didn't show up and you started to wonder to yourself, is it because they don't love me or whatever? What we see in the past is a moment in time that does not define you. It was either isolated to that person or you've outgrown the lesson. And so in this moment in time, you're worth more than maybe you give yourself credit for or others are giving yourself credit for. And this is a chance to bring things back into balance. The natural card after the Five of Pentacles would be 6, which is balance. You would see someone holding the scales and holding the resources and deciding this for you, and this for me. We all need to be balanced. So you're right on that precipice of having what you need. It just involves saying no, because your outcome card is Justice Reverse, which is a very clear message in tarot. It's saying, no, that doesn't work, or we need to fix this, or I want this, not this. There is an exclusionary or an editing or a fixing or a balancing energy to Justice Reversed. So this is your time to balance out the scales, get that Six of Pentacles at the center so that you're in a nice, sweet spot when it comes to resources. Looking at your deep past, which hopefully by now you've already overcome, we have the Two of Swords, and it is reversed, which is good. It's saying, I'm not afraid of what I don't know. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to walk down a path and just give it my all. We see the sun eclipsed in the Two of Swords. It's kind of cool, though, this message here, because in the absence of something, in this case, the absence of the solar energy, we see the corona around the sun, the beautiful sort of rays that are kind of going outward. And so sometimes sometimes absence makes the heart kind of go further, right? So some of you might be missing someone that's gone. Some of you need to remove yourself from a situation so people can miss you and value you more. So if you're working way too hard at work, little tip here, and you have a ton of vacation saved up, take some time off. Let them miss you. And then when you come back, it's a better time to have a conversation around pay and your future growth and things like that. So what I'm actually getting from this unique Two of Swords is separate, get a little bit of clarity. When you're gone, when you're missing, people will also get clarity on you. It's going to be a lot easier to have a conversation about future wants, needs, desires, and growth at that point, okay? And the other thing here is, in any part of our life, it doesn't matter how intuitive you are, there's always a little bit of unknown because we can't control others' actions. We can anticipate, we can see what's going on around them, but there's always free will going on in the world. So there's always going to be a little bit of moving in the moment. And so whenever a Two of Swords energy comes through in your life, just take what you know, take one of those swords and try to get yourself through the thicket and you'll be okay, all right? Comfort with ambiguity is going to be important. We have the Lovers in reverse, connecting with this water energy at the center as well. So some of you may have a water sign coming into your life. But for the rest of you, we're just seeing the heart opening, still a little bit of hesitation because the card was reversed, and then the Lover's card also saying, and I think some of it has to do with even like imposter syndrome. Is this person too good for me? Are they out of my league? Or am I ready for this? And yes, you're ready for it. Remember what I said, like attracts like. Whether it's a person or a job or something amazing in your life, the Lovers is coming through because the universe wants to shower some love on you, saying, hey, you're worth this, okay? So when it happens, and it's not an if, it's when good things come to you, say thank you, and know that you worked to create that. It was a synchronicity. New relationships could take off, could start to move quickly. So you could meet a new friend, a new partner, a new love interest, and it's just sort of like, I've known this person forever, or I really want to, for some reason, be serious, be exclusive with this person. Make sure that they're on the same page. Make sure that you're on the same page. What I would say with this is just to kind of take a pause, see where someone's at, ask where they're at too. You could sort of say, if it's a big conversation, how are you doing today? What's going on with this? Kind of sort it, just get a feel for like where they're at in the energy of their day. And then also ease into the conversation if it's about being exclusive too. Just say, I'm so glad we had a chance to start to get to know each other. I'm really enjoying it. How are you feeling? A lot better than saying, what are you looking for? Where are we going to go next? Just sort of like tiptoe around it, and then you can get to the point. Make sure that the timing is right. Make sure you're not rushing it too much. Because Lovers or Two of Cups reverse can sometimes be unrequited or rushing it. And so we just want to take our time and let things grow in a natural way. All right, looking at the move or be moved energy. So we'll start first with the two center cards, or the two underlying cards, I should say, and then we'll go with the cards on top. So I love that the Wheel of Fortune is the sort of latent or hidden energy that wants to reveal itself. We have a dream catcher in this particular deck, which is beautiful. Some of you are trying to protect your dreams, and you're trying to protect your maybe intellectual property so much that you're afraid to share, but there is a moment here where you have to like let that energy out. So Wheel of Fortune is saying what you have to offer is good, but there has to be a moment where you're ready to just sort of like put it all on the table. A change. Wheel of Fortune can indicate a change of job, a change of fortune, a change of habits. The change brings about new and exciting energy. The card that's amplifying it is the Son of Wands or the Knight of Wands. And this is almost like a radio tower, the way that this one has been illustrated. So what you're going to do here to accomplish the Wheel of Fortune is you're going to show it. Because wands are very demonstrative. They're in the head, but they're also in the body. Whereas swords are going to act it out, speak it out, create some sort of manifestation. What you need to do is embody the thought, embody the idea. And when you're walking into a key conversation, it's not just about what you have to show, but it's how you show it and also what your body language is saying to amplify the message, to amplify the data. So you are ready, but you have to show you're ready. And if you can do that, then doors start to open up for you, okay? I really like the idea that some of you are starting to develop. So whether this is, I have an idea for a new job, I have an idea for a collaboration, I have an idea for a partnership, I'd like to ask someone out, whatever the idea is, it's connected to source. This card is really connected to source. And the minute you start to believe it, others start to believe it too. And it becomes like an old radio tower or antenna pushing the signal out, pulsing it out, okay? So hopefully most of you are just in that energy, belief and activation, and then people pick up on that and you're good to go. If you are stagnating, the universe isn't going to let you stagnate for long. And if something is not to your liking, like we saw with the Five of Pentacles here, then the universe is going to change that too. It's time for change to happen. Here's the interesting thing. Someone in your life could come through. We have the Knight of Swords reversed here. They could come through and they could say something that just doesn't sound right. It hits you the wrong way. It's stuck in your head. So that was meant to come in and make you put the brakes on and decide, why am I doing this? Why am I working with this person, etc. It could be an insult. It could be criticism. It could just be something that doesn't gel with you. Listen to that. That's important. You could be also looking at your life in a more critical but constructively critical way, thinking, this isn't me. This doesn't feel right for me, because this is a lack of balance, and this is understanding that and deciding to take action. It has to be fairly quick action. Hopefully, like I said, most of you are leaning into what's going on and kind of moving with the energy here. But if you don't, then you have a shorter window of activity or action when this is going to have to take place. So this is also, by the way, because we're modifying these with positive cards, there could just be a big change in your work or financial future, and it's very positive. Because Wheel of Fortune combined with Tower is good change. We got the good first, then we got the change. Literally, if we put it together as compound cards, that's all it is. And what's happening here for some of you is disbelief in the good change. So good, change, and then we have the Ten of Pentacles in the environment, people wanting to bring that through. So don't disbelieve that if that's happening. So what could be modifying it for some of you is we have the Six of Swords here. It could require a physical move or just a move in the way that you're thinking or working. So movement for sure is going to be a big piece of the energy this month. Are you ready to make that move? I guess that's the question. Even if you're not, I feel like you're going to have to somehow get comfortable with a shift, a change, or a movement in your life. All right. Some other things I'd like to talk about. When it comes to this, your words carry great repercussions and great impact. So positive reinforcement could change someone's life. Negative energy could also hit them the same way it could be hitting you. So be very, very careful with what you say, because it's going to have big effects this month. So even though the High Priestess isn't here, she might as well be. There's a lot of manifestation and a lot of power behind your words. Written, spoken, and even nonverbal. Any type of communication that you do is definitely impactful, and that's exciting, but it carries with it some responsibility. As I said here, when we're looking at your self here, your ego, your soul energy, we have the Six of Swords in reverse. What I love about this card, though, is we see the rainbow. So Six of Swords can indicate a period of loss or difficulty or moving from one extreme to another. And what this is saying is it's totally worth the push. It's actually going to be fast forwarded a bit. You're going to get to the good stuff faster than you think, but you have to take that first step. So again, I'll use my recent experience. It's hard to believe it's just been a week. It feels like it's been a lot longer, but I had to make a quick move because of health and construction issues that were going on at my old place, where literally the ceilings were coming down and everything. So I thought I got to get out of here, and everything worked out. But it was a lot. It was a fast timeline. Normally you would have more time to pick a place and to make the move happen, and I had to make it happen within a month, and I did. And so sometimes we can. A job where you have to travel from one country to another, a relationship where you're deciding to move in with someone, all of these things could constitute the type of change that we're seeing, because Wheel of Fortune, kind of like the World card, the Tower definitely having that same energy, and then the Six of Swords. So movement for the better, but quick movement, and you have to just go with it, okay? This is what I love, though. When we look at your environment, we have the Ten of Pentacles. You have support. You have resources, you have opportunity. This is a card of abundance, a lot of abundance, and it's also a card of graduating. So you will get through whatever you're trying to get through. It will be worth the push, and there are nice rewards on the other side. Rainbow after rainbow coming through, as you can see with all of these different cards today. And again, some of it is just the disbelief. Have I really achieved this, and yes, you have. So I see a door opening, and I want you to be happy and open and curious about it, but don't doubt that you've created this abundance that's around you. If you're lacking abundance in the form of help, love, or friendship, then I see a bunch around you that's ready to be tapped into. We have to put ourselves out into these opportunities, though. The Ten of Pentacles, this is a very unique illustration, but normally you would see a sort of domestic picture. Let me grab the deck here and we'll talk about it. But you would see family and food and all these sort of like comforts, material comforts, but this could come through the network of friends that you have. This could come through the network of colleagues that you have, but part of what it's going to require is that you say yes to invitations. If there's any sort of gathering, professional or otherwise, that you kind of put yourself out there, because that is where you're going to have some of these impromptu conversations. So you'll look at the difference here, like between the Ten of Cups, which is just, it's basically love and domestic bliss and friendship and happiness. And then the Ten of Pentacles, which typically would show like a structure, a building. It shows all of the vines that we would see in the pentacle suit, showing that abundance. The coins, of course, that are pentacles. People that are key, your hierarchy in your own family, like paternal or maternal energy, the loyalty that we see with the dogs. So what you're really building is the network. This is the time to network. It's going to include friends, family, and coworkers. So by all means, kind of mix and mingle with those groups, and there may even be an opportunity to bring them all together in the event of like a wedding or something like that. So if any big event is happening, go to that. There could be a chance for cross-pollination and a chance to learn about something new. Mostly, though, I just see that things are kicking off when it comes to work, business, and personal growth. It's going to be a good month. You just have to get through the initial shift and change and movement portion, okay? As we look at your hopes, fears, and opportunity, we're getting some partnership energy coming through for sure. So let's just highlight some of what we saw. Father of Cups at the center, which could indicate you, and that's how I read it. So King of Cups reversed, and now we have Daughter or Page of Cups upright. Once you balance yourself out here, then we get an incoming offer, which can be what a page indicates. Offer of love, offer of partnership, offer in general. And it seems to me to be good. And it's more than it starts off. And when I look at the shadow on this bird, it's the beautiful rainbow. But to me, it looks like it's more evenly matched than it may look at first sight. So this could be an old soul, maybe kind of like less experienced than you or younger, but I'm getting a very equal energy. So even though we didn't get like an emperor card and a younger card, that's kind of what we're seeing with this, is something about, there could be even a little bit of mentorship coming through. So this new relationship, this new partnership carries with it teaching aspects. And if it's non-romantic, that actually can be quite beneficial. If it's romantic, that can complicate things a little bit, and you want to be aware of that. But by and large, we like it when in the hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have a Page of Cups. This means good news, good news. And it's also attached to the Ten of Pentacles. Now let's kind of look at this multifaceted, multi-layered Justice card, because there's a lot to unpack with this message here. So for some of you, it's a simple confirmation that yes, it's okay for you to walk away from something. It's okay to say no. Or it's okay to quit or get a divorce or step out. So extracting yourself from something that doesn't feel right anymore. And basically, that's what we see here. I don't want this. So this is the understanding that you don't, and you're going to achieve this. This is the communication, and this is the reverberation that happens because of that. And if we work backward a little bit, it's actually going to create positive movements, and we see that here. So these three cards are working to ensure that what we see here is accomplished. So it's fine if you have to say, I don't want to do this. That's you putting your power out there, you creating balance. You can also say, I need more. It's not okay to have this anymore. I need more. And you're worth more by a long shot. We've got here, I'll just turn the camera down rather than pick these all up. We have the Ten of Pentacles right here. So some people are grossly underestimating your worth. And we all have the Wheel of Fortune up here too. So this is a good time to renegotiate and a good time to find out why something isn't factoring in the way that it should. And finally, justice, and this is more of an internal thing. This works with this in an unusual way. And this is just saying, I can't believe this is happening. This can be, I can't believe this positive thing is happening. I don't know, like, I've had relationship readings with people before when I used to do that. I don't give privates anymore, but when I did, I would sometimes have to call them on things when I would get justice reversed, because they would be asking a question like, why can't I ever find someone? And I would see people popping up in the cards, but then I would see judgment or justice reverse, and I would say there's a part of you that either doesn't want it on some level, doesn't believe it, or is uncertain of, you know, your value. And you have to be certain of your value, your availability, and that this is okay. Otherwise, other people are uncertain too, and they're less likely to step in and engage. So take a deep breath. And if it's showing up, remember what I said, like energy attracts like energy, and that's going to help you feel good about what you're creating in your life, okay? Believe it. Believe in yourself. That's the final message as I'm looking at the main Celtic Cross. So now we're going to expand, and we're going to take a look at areas including health, wealth, love, and destiny after I take a drink. Okay, so we'll begin with the health messages first. I always like to just clarify that when it comes to health, I'm here to sort out basically energy and help you make the best decisions possible, empower you to make the best decisions possible. So if there is something going on with your mental or physical health, work with a professional. If you just want to look at the options in front of you, that's what we're going to do for the healthiest outcome. So looking at the cards here, starting with the oracle message, we have a playful card, the Otter Spirit, and it says, you are never alone. And that's what I was talking about here with the Ten of Pentacles. It may just be a matter of like raising your hand, speaking up, and asking for the help that you need, or accepting and RSVPing to an invitation. But once you do that, there is love and joy. The otters are the lovers here. Look at the heart and look at the two of them playfully kind of entering in. But with the card reverse, it's sort of like pulling back a little bit. So you're going to have to sort out maybe why there is a little bit of resistance on your part. If someone else is holding back, remember you can't force it. So there'll be someone else that's more receptive. So you need to be receptive and they need to be receptive. Until that happens, keep being patient, keep sorting it out. You will find the right connection when the time is right. Now for health things here, this is also about having fun, being playful and hanging out with your friends. This goes back to the Eternal Child card that came through at the very beginning. So when was the last time that you hung out with someone that you really, really have fun with? It could be an old friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a family member. This card is calling you in to say, send them a text, send them an email and say, let's meet up this week, or let's do a FaceTime chat and just catch up. That's going to be a very grounding energy for you. And it's important to be yourself with someone that you can truly be yourself with. All right. Looking specifically at the cards with understanding that they're health indicators, but obviously you'll work with your professionals. Two of Swords, looks like you're finally paying attention to something that needs to be paid attention to. The card is flipped, so it's saying, I can't ignore this. That is the first step that you need to take in order to make a change in your life. This is saying, I'm going to make that action happen. So for those of you that are in an unhealthy environment or habit or relationship, it's basically saying this is the month to make a change. You have to decide how and when this month, but I definitely am getting an indication that it's the right time. There could be some balance issues going on here. Watch where you're walking. Don't multitask on your phone while you're walking. In general, I would just say put the phone in your pocket until you're seated, because this can be a distraction card. Definitely when you're driving, keep that on the driving mode so you're not being distracted, or do voice-only activations. Let's see here. This has to do with circulation in the legs and the lower extremities. So again, working with your doctor to find out what's appropriate for you. Make sure that you're stretching and moving those legs. Even if it's just walking or swimming, there's a lot of low impact things that you can do that will keep you healthy in that respect. Let's see what else we're looking at. A vacation, a holiday, a trip could do you good. The Six of Swords showing that it's actually going to get you away from some of that drama and help you see the silver lining. And then say no. Limits, it's hard, but limits are key. So if you don't want to do something, say no. You're going to be happier in the long run. It's like taking a Band-Aid off. You just have to sometimes take it off. Hurts a little bit, stings for a second, but then you can heal. So for many of you, that's what's necessary. By and large, the cards are pretty good, but I do see that there could be some tough love that you're giving or that you're receiving this month. It's for the better. Once you're comfortable saying, yeah, I need to make that change, or yes, I need to accept it, it's going to be okay. All right? So looks pretty good overall. Let's move on to your wealth card. I absolutely love the card, and I love the totem here. So we have a reversed firefly, but that's okay. Fireflies can fly in any direction, so I don't worry so much about it. I kind of take this as the star or hermit reverse, though, and it's about coming out of your shell and deciding when to show your light. So with the firefly in reverse, to me, it could just be someone that's kind of waiting for their moment. Fireflies light up as a sort of mating call, FYI, and so interesting that we're seeing mixed signals. So make sure that you're not sending mixed signals. If you're getting mixed signals, ask for clarity and just say, what did you mean by this? I'm sorry to be very direct, but what is your intention here? Or especially if someone asked you for instructions at work, it can be that too. You could just say, I'm not very clear, because this is coming through on wealth. I'm not very clear on what this is. This is my assumption. Is that correct? You've put it all out there. They can clarify, nothing, no harm done. Only if you're assuming something and you do it wrong, are you really going to put yourself in a situation where it's sort of like you should have spoken up, right? The other thing here is being afraid to shine. You shouldn't. This is a month where you're going to benefit. Like I said, even if it's in a bigger group, you're still going to be able to shine. It's not about outshining, because the firefly is on and off. So it's when you're on, you're really on. When you're off, you're letting other people have this center stage. So I think it's getting your signals to match and realizing that everybody in a team is going to shine collectively, and then they'll be able to see who did what as well. So a lot of what we talked about earlier coming through with this. But to me, this is call and answer. So the firefly doesn't give up. It keeps lighting up until it finds its mate, right? So when it comes to job seeking or opportunities, keep lighting up, keep putting it out there. Your light will be seen eventually, okay? Let's look at some other messages with respect to business and money and career. Don't accept less than what you're worth. This is old stuff, and this is opportunity. And literally, it's a doubling of what we see here. So some of you, if you were to look for something else out there, a job or an opportunity or even a relationship, the amount of return that I get is like almost double. It would feel like you'd have to pinch yourself and say, how did this happen? How did I end up finally realizing that this is what I could have? So I see good news when it comes to negotiation or to research or to trying to find something better. You probably can. Find it before you call your bluff, make sure you have something there. So when you say, my way or the highway, that you have something that you can go to. But I do see it being a good time to seek an opportunity out there. For many of you, moving or traveling is necessary. So both the Tower and the Six of Swords would require moving, traveling. Also, for those of you in a company, there's a heads up that there could be a restructuring happening. This is a merger. This could be a cutback. And so I think if you're not happy with morale or pay, these cards are indicating like move or be moved. Better to move on and let that go. And you'll look back over your shoulder and say, I'm happy that I did that, because look at how complicated it is. I might have been caught up in a layoff, etc. So cement your stability right now and get that safety net and get a better place if you can. Definitely, I'm seeing a push. And this will be for those of you that recognize a long-standing issue. So maybe lower quarterly earnings, they've just been bought out, morale is low. For those folks, you know that that's going on. For the rest of you, there could actually be a chance to go out on your own or do something unique, because this is showing development in the other direction. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of middle stuff. It feels like it's either going outward and expanding, or it's pushing you towards a different opportunity that will bring in more abundance. So If you are in the same place, you shouldn't stagnate. You should be looking for a different role, maybe some travel or a transfer, something like that. For those of you that are retired, travel. For those of you that are students, a change in focus perhaps, because you might have started off in one direction and then decided, this isn't it. When I was doing my undergraduate, that happened. Ultimately, it all kind of factored in together and made sense, but I studied journalism for my undergraduate, and then I decided and I had a specialization in like public relations, but when I was trying it out, I thought to myself, I don't want to be someone else's voice. I want to be my own voice, and I don't want to clean up people's messes for a living, because that's what PR does on many levels. So I thought I want to tell stories, and I want to connect with people. So I then got a degree more in film and video and what I'm doing right now. So I topped it off in a way that made sense. And then there's no mistakes in life. The journalism piece taught me to be very inquisitive. And with tarot, I have to ask questions to guides, cards, and to even my higher self. So the inquisitive side paid off. But don't be afraid. I went to school for almost 4 years, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to do something different for my next course of study. It was all valuable, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So don't be afraid to change even after you finish something. It's a foundation. That was just the bedrock. That's all. That wasn't the goal. That wasn't the ultimate. So doesn't mean that you wasted time. Doesn't mean that, you're incapable of being clear. It just means that you recognize the shift within. So whatever the shift is within, this is the time to really do something about it, sooner than later. Okay. Let's move along to love and relationships. So never a crowd on the leading edge, honor those who honor you. Okay, so let's kind of take apart the message there. This is a wordy card, if I can say so. Never a crowd on the leading edge. So what it's saying is to be a leader sometimes means to be alone. Never a crowd on the leading edge. So when you're at the front, you can't always see what's behind you. If you look at athletes that are leading a race, they can't afford, they have to kind of just know that others are right on their tails or they're right behind them. You don't want to lose the momentum. So I'm for some reason looking at like track and field in my head or speed skating where every second counts. So focus on what you need to finish and finish it, and then you're going to notice that there were people right behind you, very close behind you. It felt like you were alone, but you were not alone. So to lead can be a little bit isolating, but eventually when you take a pause, when you accomplish what you want, you're going to see that crowd join around. Also, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So this says, honor those who honor you. You're really looking for not necessarily more friends, but more high quality friends. So having maybe just 2 or 3 people that you can really depend upon and trust is better than 10 or 20 people that flake on you, that really aren't there when things are difficult. You want your ride or die, not the fair weather friends, okay? So that's the litmus test this month. Maybe limiting, saying no, cutting things out a little bit very much goes with this, which would be reducing, this which would show people shaking away a little bit, this which is about mutual or none at all. So we're really focusing and fine-tuning relationships this month. Let's go a little deeper into the main areas that I like to focus on, and I think most of you do too. We'll look at those for those of you that are in relationships, seeking out a relationship, or single and happy. Okay, so beginning with those already in a relationship, there's some movement that's happening. First of all, one partner is a little bit more sensitive or in need than the other. So bringing balance to the relationship is the most important thing that can be done. Seeing each other eye to eye, accepting one another for your faults, for your differences, and saying, I still want to be here, this is still good. That's going to be important. So one partner needs validation. I love you, I care, etc. And they may need a little bit more support. So that's the first thing that I see. I'm also seeing a grudge for some of you that could be carried from the past. So this month gives you a chance to move on. This is a card of release, 6 of Swords. Traditionally, you would see someone riding in the water. Sometimes there's a ghost behind them, sometimes there isn't, but basically it indicates a period of time where you know that some things are just better left in the past. Here we go. That you're just going to move beyond what was. So let's look at this card close up. Moving on. I did a couple of weeks ago a whole video on moving on, moving up, moving out. In order to be able to do that, you have to let go, okay? So time heals just about everything, and this month looks like it's the final chapter on something and you can move on. If you can't, then you have to move out in order to get to that next level, because you have to release it or release the energy between the two of you. Conversations around money and home. Some of you might be ready to move, but the other party may not be ready to move. There could be something really important going on with your health or your partner's health, and it's difficult to talk about it. So finding a way to see eye to eye and to communicate, that's going to be the biggest challenge here. Finding common ground is key. So the Ten of Pentacles was what I showed you in that card earlier. The life that you built together, the home, the friends, the family, all of that stuff. And so you might want to be focusing on that energy. It's already back in the deck. But basically, this is what we have in common. This is what we build. I'm here for you. Let's do this together. So I think that's the key to make this work. And then it's received pretty nicely. But there is a rebalancing and a refactoring that has to happen. And only you can decide if it's enough, if what you have is enough. Because I do think it's going to take some time for everything to kind of settle down. But these two cards are basically saying a change has to happen. So there's a necessary change. If you both are on board with the change, good. If you're not, then it makes it difficult to stay. So find ways in which you both can move together and change together and grow together. Otherwise, there's stagnation and friction. If you can make it about the two of you and not one or the other, that's key too, because it does look like one partner tends to internalize and take things personally, so that can be challenging. There is love, but there's a lot of validation that seems to need to happen with this other person. So it may be beyond your, I disclaim everything for health. The same thing happens for relationships. There can be a point at which you just need an external person to step in and help out. So counseling would definitely be good at this point in time as well. All right, looking now at those of you seeking love. So yes, it's already around you. There actually may be someone that's trying to get your attention, but you're in a Four of Cups moment where you're not tuning into that. So tune in to what's going on around you. I see a lot of friends that are willing to set you up to. It feels like you could organically meet someone at work or at a social event when you least expect it. So it's already there, the potential to meet. Some things that might be necessary first. You need to clean up your life. Maybe it's environmental, maybe it's existing relationships, maybe it's your health. Something needs to be cleaned up a little bit with the Tower here, and maybe just talking it out would help. You may need some time to let the dust settle. If you had a long relationship that you got out of, if you just lost someone in your life, if you're dealing with a different sort of separation or loss, you need to let that settle. It will get better. This can indicate, though, a period of 6 weeks to 6 months, depends on your level of grieving and loss. So I would say give it a month and a half at least, and then by the end of this year, for sure, we're seeing movement in that area. But there's already interest, and it does come across as a water sign, someone who's very sensitive, very open, very expressive and communicative. So they need you to be the same, okay? And that's basically what I see. And if you don't vibe with someone, say no so that the right person can come along. You don't want to string someone else along, and you don't want to be strung along. Okay. When you meet someone, by the way, they may be very into getting married or getting serious or moving in. This is definitely a card of commitment. So when it happens, it's a very nice connection. So don't settle for less if that's what you're looking for. For those of you that are single and happy, the big opportunity as we look at environment, as we look at the crowning card, is improvement of your resources, a change in environment, and a balancing of your life. I mean, I think everyone should focus on that, but the people that are unattached, the big opportunity is finally getting what you deserve, particularly when it comes to money and appreciation, and maybe even buying a home, because it didn't match with everything that I was seeing, but I got the word escrow in my head this morning. And the escrow piece is going to be important with the details. That's why I wanted you to pay very close attention to the application and to the requirements, because there could be something that comes up in escrow, and I don't know enough about real estate to speak intelligently about that, but that could make it go longer, or that could cause a rejection even if they like you. So really get all the stuff together so it can just be a rubber stamp approval, because I did see other offers on the table. So when it comes to that, focus on the details. Make sure that you have a really good lawyer. For some reason, it's coming up in relationships. So I would say for you, maybe go with someone that, don't go with like a family friend or something like that. We need to go professional. So hire someone on your own if you need to, getting it out of the sort of circle of someone doing a favor for you. You just need to get the best possible job done. Pay what you need to pay for that, because it'll be worth it in the long run. Okay. But yeah, I got a very specific message for those of you that are trying to buy a home, because I got the word escrow and then I saw the details. Pay attention to the details. Get that looked at 2 or 3 times, make sure everything's in the right place. Moving now on to our destiny card, we have coming together. So the interesting thing is we're ebbing and flowing. So leading can sometimes feel lonely, but there will be a celebration. There will be a group that gathers around you. There will be recognition eventually. So you're going to go between moments of feeling alone to feeling crowded, and that could be one of the challenges. You're being asked to work with people that you wouldn't normally work with. The coming together card was reversed. I see a little heart when I put it in the right direction here, or 2 faces looking face to face. So it may feel like it's an unlikely partnership, but the otter shows me that you can find a way to have fun in that. And sometimes the weirdest connections can be the best. If I think back to when I was partnered up in like corporate environments with someone that was very different, sometimes we brought about the best kind of like combination of skills. So you never know how it could work out. Like attracts like, but sometimes opposite energies can complement each other. So go with it. I feel like there could be an assigned coupling where you normally wouldn't couple up, but it's going to be a good thing. So just push through it. It doesn't mean you have to do that forever, but you'll learn something from them in the process. Let's move on to the big idea now. The big idea, of course, being the next portion in this reading. It's going to allow us to focus on one overarching idea that can help you be successful. Okay? Let's see what the cards have to say. Yay, I'm so happy to see this. It's the call and answer to the 5 of Pentacles here. So you are going to get that balance that you're seeking out. And I love how we see like a wilting flower here, the rose, and now we see all the new buds growing here. So when you ask for more, when you push back a little bit and say, no, I need this, not this, it creates more abundance. So less but better. And less is more, is basically what this card is saying for you. So please, these are so clear to me. This is the ability to say no and to be discerning. This legitimately is no. So your no will bring about power, your ability to create boundaries between your friends and you, your family and you, and even just for yourself. I've had enough of this, or I shouldn't do any more of this. It's time to go to bed now. Whatever the limits are that you're creating, these are going to be so effective. I love plants and flowers. I gave away a bunch of my old flowers when I moved, and I have fewer in the new place, but they're all real. And they love the new environment here. But with different types of plants, you need to make sure that they have the right size pot. So once these are done blooming, I would put them in a bigger medium, move them to another room, and hopefully get them to rebloom. But with a rose, you have to prune it in order to get the buds to bloom again, right? And so you're being faced with this opportunity where it's like, it's hard for me to do this, but I know it will create growth. Less of this, more growth in these areas. Okay? Beautiful message. Let's move on to your blessings and your blocks. Clearly things that can help you, things that could slow you down. Let's see what the cards have to say. Blessing, 4 of Wands, beautiful energy, more partnership energy coming through. And block, the Son of Pentacles reversed. Okay, some good messages coming through here. So again, we're looking at blessings and blocks. Let's look at your blessing card first. So this is, for some of you, saying just be patient. Going back to that old movie from the 80s, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. So the Four of Wands is creating habits in your life, creating thought processes, opening up into activities that are going to call in the right kind of people, and trusting that being in that energy, being the person that you love, having some of the attributes of the people that you're seeking in your life, that's the magnet. It doesn't always show up immediately. That doesn't mean that your friend, partner, or opportunity isn't on the horizon. Stay focused on your growth, yourself, and hold the door open for new things to come through. One of the things I love in this place are the windows, because it's opening up the energy. I actually have another window just to the side here. So I feel like there's all this movement, but we need to have that movement in our heads and in our minds, the ability to just stay open. So if you can stay open and look around, because we see the Lovers reversed here, and we see the Ten of Pentacles upright here. So there's love and support coming through. You just have to be aware of where it's at, and maybe that it's in an unlikely sort of package or whatever, like the timing is off or the person is off, but it's the right person. So be open to being surprised, pleasantly surprised. This still shows me love, partnership, and support, and it's in the highest energy. So timing is off, but it's still coming, okay? So it's a blessing in disguise, but you have to stay focused and stay aware. Even though it's not here, I just keep getting the energy of the Four of Cups, the hidden Four of Cups, focusing on the wrong thing and missing the right thing when it's right there, okay? Looking now at the block for the month, we have the Knight of Pentacles, or the Son of Pentacles, reversed. When I'm looking at you, I actually read reversals in court cards, particularly Pentacles, as being okay. The reason, particularly with Pentacles, is it's about investing in yourself and taking care of yourself. So I look at Knights in a very specific way. It doesn't mean when they're reversed that there's going to be a full stop. To me, it's a pause until you've learned what you needed to, and then you can pick up the pace. So this is saying I'm going to slow down the consumption or the external investment, and I'm going to focus on the internal development first. So if you're someone who gives away everything for free, this is saying stop for a second. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that your money and your resources are balanced. And if not, ask for that and fill up, charge the tank. So this could just be about getting rest, getting paid. It could also be a decision to take money that you would normally spend on someone else and say, you know what, I actually need to get some training, or I need to go to the doctor, or I need to buy some new clothes so that I look professional. You're just shifting the focus. And that is very much in alignment with the big idea, which is saying, I need to rebalance things out so that I feel like I'm being taken care of here. Okay? So you have encouragement here to do what's necessary to find the balance. The other thing is, one of the blocks is you can't control other people's thoughts. Try though you may. You can influence, you can affect, but you can't make their mind up for them. And so this is someone who's just out of reach. You're not in their thoughts, and that's okay. That's actually a communication of sorts. So if someone's ignoring you, if someone's not paying attention to you, if they just don't answer, they're actually giving you some of the energy here of the Six of Swords, which is it's time to move on. And it's a form of ghosting or ignoring. It's communication as well. So if you can't get an answer, you're getting an answer. It's just not the answer that you want. And you can always ask for clarification, but after 2 or 3 attempts, it's pretty clear that someone's just not connecting. Okay, and then just move on. You don't have to have a big dramatic moment. Just invest differently. If they come back later, you can say, oh, I just assumed you weren't interested, and I moved on. But let's keep in touch, and when it makes sense, we can reconnect. If it is a misunderstanding, they'll get it, and they'll also know in the future that they need to answer. So either way, you're going to be put in a good position because you will have already found the next best thing. They will have learned a lesson with respect to boundaries and communication, and again, it's win-win. Okay, let's go to viewers and readers' choice. And at this point, we're both going to get a chance to dig a little deeper in some of these key areas. So let me turn the camera down as we're looking at all of this, and we'll figure out what to focus on. All right, so let me create a poll for you guys here, and let's see. I want to get a little bit more information on like the lovers and the energy of relationships. So let's see what's just going on with relationships, and I'm going to put like relationships, and I'm going to also put reciprocity, because all of these messages seem to be around like, is there mutual interest, or is someone not kind of like returning your energetic investment? So I think it's relationships and reciprocity, and we'll see what comes of that. The next thing that's popping up here is boundaries, clearly. How and when to create them. And then let's take a look at, I'm going to look at teamwork, so we'll hold that because that's a theme that needs to be looked at, so that's the reader's choice. I'm really curious about also the resources. So resources, specifically opening up abundance. I feel like these are all excellent choices. If you get a couple of them to tie, I'll read them both, but otherwise I'll read the one that has the most votes. All right, so go ahead and take your time and vote on that while I'll take a look at all of these interesting relationship cards, because each of the relationship cards came through reversed, all of them, this one, this one, this one. So I'm gonna ask, what the heck is going on with relationships? So what is it? What is the partner or relationship dynamic that needs to be balanced or established? Okay, so leadership is coming through, leadership and authority. So, okay, let's look at this from a few different levels. So I mentioned earlier when I was looking at the two cards here, the Father of Cups and the Daughter of Cups. This to me is, for some of you, it could be family dynamics and the Emperor is a dad. So you could be dealing with paternal energy. And the interesting thing is, even if it's not your father, like mine is in spirit, it could be a lesson or an energy that you had with your dad, and now you're trying to work it out in a friendship, in a work relationship, or in your love relationships. So something that didn't sort itself out with the father figure in your life is now sorting itself out in the love or the career aspects of your life. So the lessons that we can get from the Emperor card is that no matter what your age, no matter how good or not so good your parents were at raising you, you are the Emperor. You have that energy. You have the ability to create a stable life, to make solid decisions. And it's so interesting that in this deck, we have the two different versions of the cards. So this is the Emperor, and then we have the Tower breaking down. Breaking down, for some of you, the familial energy, the ancestral energy around a perceived failure or difficulty. So you are not your father. You are not the failures of your father or even the successes of your father. You're your own person. And we actually have a Sun card on top of the Tower. So this Tower breaking the family ties and breaking out and going in its own direction. So family energy is entering in for a lot of you, and it's playing itself out in key relationships in your life. So you are more than the sum of your parents. You are not the limitations of your parents. You're also not the successes of your parents. So like if you have really successful or famous parents and you're trying to live up to that, stop it. Don't worry about that. You're your own voice, your own vision, your own person. If they were a mess financially or they had a lot of problems, personal demons, forget about it. That was them. You can learn from these successes or failures, but they don't define you. You're your own person. That's the most valuable thing that I could give you. And you are free in this reading, moving forward, you are untethered from them. You do not have to repeat. In fact, you get to rewrite your future. And that may drive them crazy, but that's your choice to make, okay? Perfect. Let's see what you guys chose for me. So let's see here. You gave me a tie. So that's good. I was kind of expecting it because these were good options. So a perfect tie between relationships and reciprocity, and also on resources. So let's focus on the relationships and reciprocity, single card for that, and then we'll go to the next one. All right, so relationships and reciprocity. This is interesting. So how can we balance things out? Why isn't the other person thinking about you? We already hit on a little bit of this, but also we're looking more at like, why aren't you getting the investment level that you want from that other person? the world. It's time to move on, folks, for some of you. So here's the thing. The world card is about either fully committing and going to the next level or saying goodbye. And for some of you, this can also just be about it's your chance to shine and expand. And what I'm seeing here is they're pulling back a little bit because maybe the timing that this was happening in was unexpected. It feels like it's sudden, even if it is a slow build and a slow burn for you. Or it's just sort of like they don't know what to do with the new you. So they need to catch up as well. Hey, buddy. Want to say hi to everybody for a second? So just like Apollo's getting used to this new place, sometimes we all need a moment just to sort of sort ourselves out. So that's the big thing that I'm seeing is that changes are happening and they feel like you've made some of these changes even faster than they have. And so they're going to make their mind up now. Am I going to change with you or am I going to go in a new direction? And so like I said, with all those cards of movement, like, thanks buddy, like the Six of Swords, for instance, it is just give them some space. Also remember way back at the beginning, I said, you get your own space as well. And it could create more clarity for them when you're gone. So don't be afraid if certain people are falling away, pulling away, or not coming through in the way that they used to. That's because energetically, you might have been here or here, and they're not used to it. They're used to being maybe here. All of a sudden, you got up to here, and they're like, wait, what does this make me? So they'll either meet you or go a little higher, or they're just going to fall out. So recalibrating is what's happening. So give them time and space, give yourself time and space. It's okay. And you'll be able to tell after that recalibration if it's time to reconnect, if they've matured a little bit, if you're both on the same energy. It could also be the other way where you're matching them. But either way, it should equal out. It usually does in time, but if it doesn't, newer, better, brighter energies coming into your life, and that's what I see. Time to go bigger with those relationships and those energies. All right, the second one that tied with this was resources, opening up to abundance. Amen to that. Let's see how we can bring you more money, more opportunity, more visibility, etc. Okay, Five of Swords, really interesting. We talked about the early bird getting the worm. Here's the worm. All right, so back to that earlier message, there's a lot of competition this month. I wouldn't always see that with the Five of Swords, but an interesting thing here. Five of Swords to me represents something that you can't always win. And so if somebody gets something and it's not, and they do it in a way that's not so great, or you really thought you deserved it, something better awaits you. And it will be, they're going to be pinching themselves and beating themselves up for not waiting for the thing that is coming along your way. So they're going to get exactly karmically and energetically what they deserve and what they're ready and what they're sowing. You reap what you sow. So don't worry if somebody gets something ahead of you or using sort of like a technique that they shouldn't. It's not going to pan out for them in the long run. And what it does is it helps you from taking that energy on yourself, and you're going to get something better and be rewarded for your patience and your hard work. So what I'm seeing for some of you is a misstep or a perceived missed opportunity that opens a door that's better for you. Also, get your energy away from people that are incapable, unwilling, or unready to be mature, to take accountability, to take responsibility, to listen to criticism. There could be someone around you that is in that low frequency. That's lowering your frequency too. So I think it's important for you to separate from that. Now, I think the most powerful message, because most of you are actually, I think you're in a good trajectory here. Don't talk yourself in or out of something that doesn't feel right. This is the missed thing that a lot of, even myself sometimes I don't see on the Five of Swords. It can be you communicating with yourself. You can embody the Five of Swords. Not like you're behaving poorly with someone else, but you're trying to have an argument with yourself when you know what the truth is. So if it's time to go, go. If there's something you need to do it. Don't talk yourself into doing the lesser thing or the thing that's more comfortable. there's a little bit of work that needs to be done. When you do the work, the abundance opens up. For some of you, it's finding a better job. For some of you, it's standing up for yourself. For some of you, it's just accepting that you're totally worth this great opportunity that's happening. There's a change that has to happen. Heart, I pointed to my head, mind or heart or environment. Something needs to shift. Once that shifts, the abundance comes through. Don't argue with common sense and with what the energy wants to bring through. I hope that makes sense. All right, we're going to now move on to sun, rising, and moon. Before we do that, just a quick little bit of a push here. We're very close to the next milestone. I think we're about 800 subscribers away. So then as soon as I get those 800 subscribers, I will do a Q&A video and I'll post some information on the community tab. So become a part of the subscriber team and never miss a video. Join me on social media if you haven't already. And thanks in advance if you have already given back, but you can optionally show support with Super Chat, Super Stickers, and all of that jazz here, memberships as well. The other thing is it's free and it does help. Please like the video and share it on social media. There are icons underneath and that engagement helps other people discover what I'm doing. Let's move on to sun, rising, and moon messages. So as I said earlier, you can use this for any aspect of your chart, but I like to highlight these because most people, myself included, like to check in with those parts of their chart. So let's do that. Let's see what the messages are, and we'll take it from there. Sun, rising, moon. A lot of work to do in the moon, but we'll get there in a second. All right, we'll begin with sun sign. So if you were born under the sign of Leo, this is going to be a good period for you. We have the beautiful Mother of Wands coming through here. And to me, this is one of my favorite court cards because she can think herself in or out of any situation. She's inventive. She is good at engineering, good at managing, just filled with ideas and potential, and isn't afraid to be the boss. We see here this beautiful snake protecting her eggs. So some of you are sitting on something really valuable and you're just trying to figure out how to bring it out to the world. It's going to be a good month for you overall, but you are being encouraged and pushed to embody the boss energy. When I did my channeled messages, I had the Queen Bee card with the Three of Pentacles where she was sitting there, and even in a group she was shining. So the Queen of Wands is going to find a way to just be strong, be proactive, be persistent in any given situation, and that's going to be how you can be powerful, okay? So good month for leadership. People are looking up to you. It's a good month to develop your ideas as well. I like everything about this card, and I'm glad that it came through for the sun sign. The only thing that can sometimes happen, the card is upright, but just keep an open mind and go with the flow, because we did get the Five of Swords coming through for abundance, so you could be trying to argue with your own better judgment. You know what to do. Follow that intuition and follow that instinct, and it will be a good month for you, okay? Great energy. All right, let's move from sun to rising. Rising is going to show up in business, even though we got a very businessy sun card. It's going to show up in friends circles and any sort of public persona. It is very much a projection, but it can also be like reception, and it's a good chance to check in with how you're showing up in the world at large. So we have a butterfly here. It's the Two of Pentacles, but the card's reversed. So I don't worry so much with the twos, particularly the Two of Pentacles, because there's always a chance to get balance. You now got every single balance card you could possibly get. You got the Six of Pentacles, which has scales on it. You have the Justice card, which has scales on it. You have the Two of Pentacles, which is a balancing card in and of itself. You also got the Tower, which shows imbalance. So there's a theme today, and it's hitting the rising and ascendant the hardest and the strongest, which is I'm going to choose this month to embrace and be balanced. And by doing that, I can grow. I'm going to take one of these two things and focus on it and really let that be the area of growth and abundance and movement. I'm going to de-emphasize or push one of these to the side because I can't be everything to everyone. And that's what this butterfly is trying to do, and it's exhausting the butterfly. There's only a finite amount of energy that any one of us have in any given day, so use it wisely. We are infinite souls and beings, but we have finite amounts of energy and life on the planet. So we want to use that finite portion to the best of its ability. So say no, and then also say yes to what you really love, and you're going to see growth in that area. You have the ability to finally get through that sort of breakthrough because we've got the butterfly, so changing, complete change, and then we have another card here that would be the equivalent of going through that chrysalis or through that cocoon stage. So you're pushing through, and that's the last stage of the butterfly, right? So the caterpillar goes in, creates the chrysalis or the cocoon, then it has to push through in order to really be itself. And so one of the things that the pushing through is going to involve is releasing something. So you can't do everything, you're pulling yourself too thin, and people will respect you more when you have that single ace rather than trying to juggle. The only other thing that you can do is add a resource or add some help and get to the Three of Pentacles. So that's my advice here. You either need help or you need to reduce the scope of what you're working on, okay? So let's move now to the moon signs. Moon sign, interesting message coming through. Not the prettiest card to look at, but we're gonna hold it up anyway. It is the Nine of Swords, and we see maggots on this card. We see sort of scary scene. And I'm going to pull the traditional Nine of Swords so I can hold it up without grossing everybody out the whole time. My only card in this deck that I don't love. The thing that I do like about it, though, is it shows that everything has a phase, has a reason, has a season. But the Nine of Swords is typically saying, I need to take better care of my sleep schedule. I need to manage my stress a little bit more. And I need to not focus on things that are out of my control. So if you this month can be proactive about things and think, all right, what's done is done, what may be, may be. These are the areas where I can absolutely have a tangible effect on my life. Then you're going to feel less stressed out. So this is your typical Nine of Swords, little easier for us to look at, so I'll leave this up here for now. And we see the person maybe beating themselves up over choices they made, maybe worrying about things that haven't happened yet. So I'm going to say, don't go there. Typically with the Nine of Swords, it's never as complicated or as morose or as difficult as you think it is. Instead, what I typically do if I have that woe is me Nine of Swords moment is I will sort of wake up for a second in bed and I create a list. Get pen and paper, get your phone, get a tablet, I don't care, and tap it in there and say, all right, I need to start the day tomorrow and do this and do this and do this. I want to talk to this person, and this is what I'm going to do about the problem. And then I click the power button, I close the tablet, and now I'm going to listen to some music instead. I change the channel because that's all I can do, and that's tomorrow. Stressing all night isn't going to help me out. The other thing that this could be is an environment around you. You could have a worry wart. And what you want to do with them is the same sort of energy. Not shut them down so much as to validate that their concern has been received. You are clearly upset. I don't like to hear you be upset, but I'm validating that it's okay. I'm going to see what I can do about that. I will get back to you in this amount of time. Give me that time, and then we'll reconvene. And in the meantime, I encourage you to do this. So you've validated, you've given them a timeline, you've created some limits. I won't be able to get back to you till tomorrow, but I am thinking about you and I do care about you. Let's talk first thing. It's the best you can do. Manage the stress, whether it's your own or others, and then it's not going to feel and look like this, okay? Enough said with that. All right, everyone, let's now move on to the final portion of today's reading. We're going to look at, we're going to meditate together. We'll listen to a quick sound bath, and then I give you a chance to ask me a silent question. I do my best to look at everything that's coming through, but there's always one specific thing that's unique to you that I'm sure you'd like me to look at. And if you stick around after the meditation, I'll take a look at that, okay? In the meantime, let's meditate together, and let's focus on opening things up. I really love the rainbow energy in all of these cards that we're looking at. And I also like the firefly, so I feel like we're going to use the two of them together. All right, so relax, take a few deep breaths, stick with me for these 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to take a look at your final question. So eyes closed. I want you to tune into your body for a moment. See where you might be holding on to tension, and on the exhale, relax your posture, move your shoulder and your neck around a little bit and just release those areas of tightness or tension in your body. And now I'd like you to paint a mental picture. Imagine that you're standing in front of a beautiful forest scene, just after a rainstorm, and you're starting to look at the beautiful fireflies as they're coming upward from the bushes and sort of, it's almost like shooting stars in reverse, tracing their way towards the heavens. Any of you that have grown up in a place where you can see fireflies or lightning bugs or whatever you might call them, you know what I'm talking about. They kind of make these movements and you can see a little stream of light as they move. It's not just a single point of light. So around you, you see all these little, almost like stars moving around, and you turn your attention towards the sky, and there's just enough moonlight shining that you can see a gentle rainbow of mist through the forest. So there are fireflies, there's a rainbow, and the beautiful moon shining through, and you are in that moonbeam. And I'd just like you to sit in this moonbeam of energy for a moment and imagine that you can transform, just like the butterfly or like the firefly that we've been working with. And as you move your arms out, you can imagine that there are beautiful wings beneath it, and you can see this beautiful light starting to shine from within your heart. So with each beat that you take, you start to synchronize with the fireflies, with the twinkling of the stars, with the beautiful light coming from the moon, and you feel that you are getting stronger and brighter and lighter. And that's all I want you to focus on, is increasing your light and focusing on what it is that you want to create or call into your life. And just breathe. I'm going to play the singing bowl, and then we'll come back afterwards and take a look at your final card. All right, take a nice deep breath. Bring your arms back into your heart center. And just sit for a couple of moments, taking 2 or 3 deep breaths, and on the very last breath, opening your eyes. If you haven't already done so, please open your eyes and focus on the question that you had for me just a couple moments ago, whatever this might be, whether it's regarding your career or some other aspect of your life. Just focus on that, and let's read your collective energy on this question. What a beautiful card to come through. We have the High Priestess. She was reversed. With this particular card coming through, the first thing that I would say for you as a yes/no is yes, ... but for some reason you're not trusting yourself. So listen to your instinct and your intuition. We talked about that Five of Swords earlier, about arguing with yourself even though you know you should or you shouldn't do something. Go back to the core knowledge and just sit with that and trust that, because you are being led to the right situation and the right outcome. Your thoughts are powerful. So when you start to think, this isn't going to happen, I can't do this, I won't, etc., 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 then you start to bring in the I can't, I won't, this never. So instead, I want you to go back to the new mantra that I've been bringing through over the past month, which is I can, I will, I am. So be very much in the able-minded and active sort of conjugation of verbs, like it's happening. Not it will happen or I can do it, it is. I'm doing it. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm doing. So get it as active as you possibly can and be as positive as you can with your thoughts, because we want the High Priestess to bring about positive energy, not to reinforce fears like we saw with the Nine of Swords. So the moon sign in particular, your High Priestess would be about manifesting higher and not sort of supporting what we know could go wrong. And ultimately, this is also about the element of surprise. The High Priestess sees most things, but there's still room for surprise. So be open when you're manifesting to always say something of this nature. Formulate what it is that you're manifesting and then say, all of this are higher in my best divine good, or something like that, so that you could be surprised that it could happen faster, better, or even more beneficially than you could possibly imagine. That way you're not limiting yourself by your own belief system or by your own fear. So that's the way to liberate the High Priestess. All of this are higher or better or faster in my highest good. And then you're going to be set up for success. Okay? Really good energy for this. So yes, you can create something, but you have to trust yourself. Yes, it can happen, but it could happen faster if you imagine that. So liberate that High Priestess and see what she's able to bring forth. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up for today. Again, thank you to everybody that did subscribe, and I've already got tomorrow's video posted, so you can set a reminder, and I'll put the next couple. I always try to keep 2 or 3. Eventually the schedule will come up, but I'm being kind with myself since I moved, so this month we may just go through with the current status, and then I'll do the schedule next month. Join me on social media for additional reminders. Again, remember that I don't offer private readings, and I don't reach out in messages or have any backup accounts or anything. That's just what imposters do. And now I'm going to say thank you for everybody that's given back a little bit today. All right, so first and foremost, I want to just thank a lot of the longtime viewers. I see one of them here. Enzo has a birthday, so happy birthday, and happy birthday to anybody that's celebrating it right now. I'd also like to say thanks to some of the newcomers, so let's take a moment here and see who gave back in the way of super stickers or super chat or membership. So we'll start first with memberships, and then we'll navigate out from there. All right, so let's see who our newest members are. So Kathy, welcome back. Almost 23 months now, so thanks for rejoining. You'll get a little different emoji once you hit 24, so that's cool. Michelle DePoy, thank you for rejoining after a month. And let's see, Maminka, I think it is. Thank you for rejoining after 3 months. Fire, thank you for rejoining after 12 months. Jamie Shelter, Karen Adams, April Gallowick, all of those folks, thank you so much for joining as well. Jamie, for being a star channel member, I appreciate it. All right, and now for supers. Anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat, I just like to say thank you here. So we have a small list. I should be able to get through this quickly. Lean's the Inner Work Queen, thank you so much for kicking things off today. Suma Seal, thank you as well. Aphrodite Goddess 369, good to see you again. Thank you for your support. 20 Dragonfly 201. Thank you very much. Jeannie Hart and Star Seed Aquarius. Good to have all of you folks here. And I hope you enjoyed today. It was a magical reading, lots of beautiful energy. And if I could pick one thing that I really see, as I'm looking at all this card, it's movement for the better. As we look at this, you're definitely on the path for better things to come. And I'm excited for that. It just requires a little bit of release. Whenever we're confronted with change or movement, it can sort of be, it creates disbelief. So I want you to believe that you're worth this great opportunity that you've brought into your life, okay? Lots of love from me to you. Join me again tomorrow if you can, and I'll be live on Sunday as well. So take care of yourselves. Have a great week ahead and a great month ahead. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. It means the world. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.